Book one when it's allowed. The books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's the author of the book, The Money Nerve, and no other than Mr. Bob Wooler. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Bob. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure. Well, it's great to be here, Daniel. Let's see. I am a CPA. I'm a tax person, and I am also the CFO of the world famous Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and an author. And basically, wrote a book combining our joy and love of money along with our fear and scarcity mindset around money,
Yes.
and connected it into discovering and talking about your emotional relationship with money.
Money, money, come to me. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Bob. The money nerve is a powerful metaphor. What does this nerve represent biologically and psychologically?
Well, when you think about money, when you win the lottery, you get excited, you feel euphoria in your body. When you bounce
Yes.
a check, your credit card gets declined, you feel sick to your stomach. It's a physical thing. So the money nerve is a physical reaction sometimes. And then psychologically, it hits a nerve. We start talking about money. It's one of the topics that we don't really like to talk about unless we're telling everybody we're making lots of it.
You suggest money triggers primal reactions. How do past financial wounds or inherited money traumas cause this nerve to flare up, leading to self sabotage?
Yeah, well, our parents, our community, whether it's our church, whether it's our particular culture, that might tell us money's bad or that I'm a bad person for wanting money. And so we bring in these biases from our parents, from the media, from our grandparents, from the church, and we might start going down a path. It may not be really true, but we have all these preconceived ideas that other people have put into our minds.
Why do traditional financial tools like budgets or spreadsheets often fail to create a lasting change if we have not first soothed the nerve?
Well, a lot of people, they see a budget, they see a spreadsheet, any of that stuff, they're going to just check out. They're going to think that that's not for them, that they're not smart enough, that they don't understand it. And so if we don't start to do a little work around our emotions around money, then we're not going to be able to see the benefit of budgeting or see the benefit of saving ahead. And so to me, it's important we start to get comfortable with our uncomfortableness around money.
Mr. Bob, let's talk about the emotional mechanics and patterns of money. When people feel financial anxiety, where in the body do they typically feel it? How does it reveal their money nerve at work?
I think a lot of people feel it in their stomach. Some people may feel tension in their shoulders or lower back. Um, I would say, though, a lot of people, if they're, a check is declined, it all just comes to the center, right? But if you
Yes,
if you win money, like your whole body feels it, right? And
excite. Yeah.
so if it's a negative emotion, I think it tends to be more we bring ourselves in, and when it's a positive emotion, we we tend to feel it all over.
How do generational belief about money, that money is evil, will never be rich, become embedded in this nerve? What's your process for rewriting these scripts?
So the first thing is to become aware of the messages that we've programmed into our head. So going back and looking at when we were 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7? What did mom and dad say? Did they tell us money's bad, you're greedy, you're selfish,
Yes.
or you deserve everything? Whatever those things might be, right? We were getting programming the whole time. And so once I can start to realize I'm not worthy, money is for everybody else, I can start to then check out and see if these stories are valid. In other words, is there any truth to these stories that I've created? And it's really important to excavate and look back at, what did mom and dad say? What do I remember? What are the negatives? What are the positives? And then check it out. Is that true? If I don't have $1 million, I can't be happy. Is that true? If I don't have lots and lots of money, people won't like me. Is that true? And then start to check that out and then actually start to rewrite that to, I deserve to be happy regardless of the amount of money I have, or I'm learning to deal with money better than I used to. And then trying to working on just reframing that so that we can rewire the brain.
How does a triggered money nerve create a self-fulfilling cycles of poor decisions?
Well, if I believe that if somebody says you deserve this, and then it triggers me to go, no, I don't, no, I don't, then I'll start doing things to self sabotage to make sure I don't actually get it. Uh, or if somebody were to say, you know, anybody can do this. Well, in my mind, that might be a trigger and go, no, anybody but me. And then I'll start for looking for proof of why I don't deserve the money or why I'm not capable of generating money or creating money.
Interesting answer, Mr. Bob. Very well said. Beautifully articulated. Let's talk about the healing and rewiring. What are your top somatic or mindfulness techniques for regulating the body's stress response before tackling money decisions?
Well, I'm a big believer in a couple of things. Mantras are really important to me. It doesn't mean that if I just chant for a Mercedes, I'm going to get a Mercedes, but being able to reassure myself I receive money easily, I make money decisions that serve me, just to sort of calm the system so that when things do happen, I'm not going into chaos or flight. The other thing for me that's really important, and this may sound weird talking about money, I think it's really important to take a little bit of time to meditate, to just quiet the body. It doesn't have to be all bells and gongs and things, but being able to just sit with yourself quietly and just listening to what's going on in your mind and then trying to just quiet that so that you don't go down these rabbit holes. Really just learning to relax and being okay with yourself without having all the answers.
How can readers literally rewire their nervous system reaction to money triggers? What daily practices rebuild safety?
So it's really important to catch ourselves consciously saying things. For example, I had a friend who would always say, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke. I can't make this job happen because I'm broke. I can't do these things because I'm broke. And I knew that that wasn't true. So I challenged him and I said, are you broke or are you choosing to spend your money on things that don't serve you? And so once he knew that he had this phrase, I'm broke, after we talked about it, he would hear him say that and then he would pause and reframe it. I'm choosing not to put the money where I said I wanted to put it.
Yes.
I I'm not broke. I'm currently experiencing cash flow. And so he reframed his languaging so that as things would happen, instead of going straight to I'm broke, he would tell himself, "Oh, I'm experiencing a shortage of cash flow." And so then it wasn't like this prophecy of I'm always going to be broke. Oh, I'm in a current situation. And so when you can catch the trigger, when you can catch that phrase that you're using, Once you can start to consciously catch it and create a hiccup, you can change it pretty quickly. Um, 4 to 6 weeks, you can start reaffirming new languaging, and that other just sort of starts to go away. Once my friend got over the I'm broke, he went out, he was working, he was an actor, he went out and got his headshots, he went out and did all the things he needed to do because he realized he was just creating a story so he could blame it on being broke.
I'm not broke, I'm rich. Better to say that, right?
Exactly. But you know what? When some people say I'm rich, I'm deserving, internally it
Yes,
freaks them out.
definitely. Oh, how does exploring shame or guilt around money help desensitize the nerve?
So a lot of people, and I'm not saying everybody, a lot of people have shame about money. I make too much, I don't make enough. I'm embarrassed that my family shows off their wealth. I'm ashamed that I get paid less than my coworkers. And so what I found in the work I've done with clients that were initially tax clients, and then when I started working with people in coaching and therapy, a lot of people carry a lot of shame about their money story, whether it's I'm so embarrassed that my family is so extravagant and greedy, or it's just wealth is ugly. And until we can start to embrace, hey, this is part of who I am. It doesn't define who I am. Yes, my family had lots of money. Yes, my family had no money. It doesn't make me a better or worse person. And so the more I can lean into the shame and realize it's a feeling, but it's not the definition of who I am, I can then start to be more accepting of who I am by accepting all parts of me, including the parts that I don't really think are amazing, but realize that those are just parts of me. And it doesn't make me bad.
Yes, for sure. So, why is connecting money choices to personal values crucial for healing the nerve?
Well, if we don't know what our values are, if we don't know what we stand for, if we don't know what's important to us, we can't prioritize those things. And so for me, it's super important to get clarity, to get intentional, and to be really conscious about what I'm saying and doing. So if I say I want to be wealthy, if I want to leave legacy for my family, if I want to travel, whatever those things might be, if I'm not clear about my values, then I'm not clear about how I can get there. If I know that I want to travel, or if I know I want to give back to others, I can then set goals. I'm going to save up this much money. I'm going to give this much away, or I'm going to put this much aside to travel. If I'm not clear on my values, it might just be I'll do anything, I'll steal, I'll do whatever I need to do. But I'm still not really clear about my purpose. And I think for us to get clear about our purpose and about our values and our principles, it's important because for me, if I want to be in integrity, I want to know these are things that I want, and here's what I'm willing and not willing to do to get there.
Very well said again, Mr. Bob. Very well said. And as an author, what are your short term and long term goals, Mr. Bob?
Well, I think my short term goals is to continue to carry on the message about the importance of normalizing conversations around money. I love when I see clients have a light bulb moment and shift the way they look at their money. I've had clients that wanted to buy a house and didn't think it was possible. And then after doing some work, setting some goals, hey, I have a house and I'm selling it and buying another house. So that kind of stuff short term makes me very happy. And then long term, I just want to continue being able to go out and work with people, do workshops, uh, normalize conversations about money wherever that's welcome. Because I just think we've spent so much time making money a bad thing we all want to have money and then rich people are evil, or we all want to have money but people that have big boats are terrible people, and learning to let it all be okay. And so that's my long-term legacy, is really to see normalization of money in conversations.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Bob, and looking forward for more success.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be, of course, like you?
I think my piece of advice is to go for what you want, even if you're afraid. Better to go and get what you want with your voice shaking and your nerves rattled than sitting back passively hoping things will come to you. I think a lot of us are waiting for something to happen instead of making something happen.
Make it happen. Stop
Make it happen.
procrastinating, people. Go, go, go. If you have the passion to write, 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 and share to the world.
That's right. Find your
And
voice.
find your voice for sure. And Mr. Bob, can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
One of my favorite books is called The Power of Focus, and
Yes.
it's got multiple authors, but The Power of Focus is a great book no matter what you're doing. And the other book that I found to be really significant was The Artist's Way.
The Artist Way. Thank you so much for that recommended books, Mr. Bob. And I hope our viewers or listeners will read it for sure. So let's talk about the sustainability and impact. When old patterns resurface, what's your nerve reset protocol?
So when something comes back, instead of beating myself up and saying, "Oh my God, I never got through," oh, it's showing up in a different way, right? We're going to work
Yes.
through things that may come back to us 10 times in slightly different ways. So I think it's important to not beat yourself up, take a breath, and really dive into, wow, it's really curious that this issue keeps coming up or that I keep getting triggered. Um, let's look into that. What's the wound?
Mm, yes. How does a healed money nerve shift someone from a scarcity driven reactivity or, yes, reactivity to proactive wealth building?
Well, I think as we heal our money nerve,
Yes.
we are able to actually appreciate in the now, in the moment. For me, wealth is more than just dollars in the bank account. It might be healthy relationships, it might be travel, it might be charitable works. And so for me, the more I can get comfortable with who I am and how I deal with money, it allows me to be more generous. It allows me to be more appreciative. It allows me to express my gratitude. And when I can come up from a place of gratitude, I may not always be happy, but I will definitely be in a positive space knowing that this too shall pass. And I think it just gives people a sense of center and a sense of calm when they can start to not spin out when it comes to money topics.
Mr. Bob, could healing our collective money nerves address societal issues like wealth inequality or consumer debt?
Well, I'd like to think so. The more we can all recognize that coming from a place of gratitude could shift the entire planet. And to me, it's all about finding gratitude. And whether I have $1 million or whether I have $100, finding in the moment my gratitude and appreciation makes me a more compassionate person. It makes me more generous. It makes me more empathetic. And so I definitely think if we could all work towards healing our money nerves instead of trying to just get to be the richest person, we would all step back and actually be much more in relationship with each other and a lot more compassionate.
Compassion, compassion indeed. And What's most shocked you while researching the neuroscience or psychology of money behaviors?
Uh, I think the most shocking thing is I think I was surprised at how many people felt shame around money and about their money choices. I was amazed at how many successful people I met that had imposter syndrome, that didn't think they deserved it, and that if people really knew the truth, they would get called out for being less than. So that was pretty surprising to me.
Yes, likewise, shocking. So, what's your money nerve wake up call? How did your own healing journey shape the book?
Well, for me, I'm a tax practitioner. I help people with their money, and I was making lots of money, but not holding on to lots of money. And so, as a person of money, I thought it's really interesting that I can't hold on to it. I can generate it, but I can't hold on to it. And so I started just looking at my own story and looking at places in my childhood where I needed to reject money to satisfy my parents in a weird, twisted way. And so being able to look and say, I'm not responsible for my parents' financial situation and I don't owe them an explanation was very healing for me to actually say, I'm actually okay as I am.
Interesting, Mr. Bob. Before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please to listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in its fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Mr. Bob, if readers successfully heal the nerve, what becomes possible for them beyond just better finances?
Well, a lot can happen. I think it increases better communication, better relationships, and it's a lot more fulfilling when you do generate that money because you're not feeling shame or embarrassment or trying to hide it. You can actually embrace who you are and embrace the abundance that you have. So for me, it actually makes everything a lot clearer and cleaner and it lets us enjoy it.
Mr. Bob Wooler, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support the Money Nerve?
Absolutely. You can find my book at themoneynerve.com, themoneynerve.com. I'm a nerd, but it's themoneynerve.com. And if they go to dollarbookdeal.com, they can get a copy of the book. It's not a hard
Yes.
copy, but they can access the book through dollarbookdeal.com.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Bob Willer because if you support him, for sure, more and more and more Money Nerve will come for sure. So, Mr. Bob, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
More to come, people. See you soon.